Hey you guys, it's Peter, and welcome to my channel, Peterisms, where I tell stories of my life and just little things that I have learned as I have grown into the person that I am today. And my husband's on his way home. He just texted me. He said, I'm on my way home. And I said, okay. So I probably got about 15 minutes to film this video. So I thought that I would do some meditations to get us started on our week. Happy Monday. Are you guys having a good day so far? I'm having a great day. I got some good rest. And I had a hard time falling asleep at first, but then I got some good rest. I feel very rested today. We were supposed to have marriage counseling tonight, but our therapist had to cancel. So Alex is on his way home. There's no marriage counseling tonight. Watch some TV, watch some shows, maybe take a little nap with my husband and my dog. It's going to be a great evening. Okay, so let's get into this. Today is, I think it's the 11th. Today is the 11th of March. So let's go into the language of letting go. The last couple of days, the meditations have been really, really good in here. So let's go in here and see what today's is. And letting go of confusion. Oh, this is interesting. Letting go of confusion, March 11th. Sometimes the way is not clear. Our minds get clouded, confused. We aren't certain what our next step should be, what it will look like, what direction we are headed. That is the time to stop, ask for guidance and rest. That is the time to let go of fear. Wait. Feel the confusion and chaos and let it go. The path will show itself. The next step shall be revealed. We don't have to know now. We will know in time. Trust that. Let go and trust. Today I will wait. If the way is not clear, I will trust that out of the chaos will come clarity. I really, really like this meditation. I remember, okay, so I don't know if I've shared specifically about this story before or not, but years ago, it was long before I was on YouTube. It was around the time that my mom passed away. I called up my dad and I was asking him about something, and it was like some kind of financial question, and it was like I didn't know what to do with the situation and whatever. It was like I think it was like a friend of ours asking us to invest in something, and so I wasn't really sure what to do. And I always like reach out to my dad for questions like that. And my dad calls me Pete, and he was like, Pete, like I don't really know what to tell you. Like that's a decision that you're going to have to make. And I remember saying to my dad at that time, we had had this conversation on more than one occasion where he basically said the same thing. But I remember this specific conversation because I said to him, like, how did you learn, Dad, like, what things to, like, what choices, like, what investments to make, what choices to make in life, what things to do, right? And he's like, you know, he was like, Pete, life is tough. He's like, I never had anybody, you know, that went before me. He's like, I was the first person to go to college. I was the first person, you know, in my family to go to medical school. I was the first person to move out of my small town. Because my dad grew up in Fort Wayne, Indiana. And he was like, you know, I was the first one to do this. I was the first one to do that. He was like the first one, you know, all this. And he was like, and it was scary to me. He was like, but I think that's where I gained a lot of my confidence, was trying things that scared me and stepping into my fear. And he said, you know, you learn as you go. He goes, you learn from your mistakes more than you learn from your successes. He said, I wish that back then I knew, like, if I had somebody directing me and said, if you do this, you will be rich, happy, content, and healthy, right? He's like, but I didn't have that. And so I had to make those choices on my own. And he said, I know that if I showed you all the successes and all the mistakes that I made in my life, that you would have a fantastic life if you did exactly what I told you to do based on those successes and those mistakes that I had. He goes, but I know that you have to make your own choices in life. He said, and my life is not going to parallel or be, you know, a parallel to yours completely. Like, the mistakes that I made are not going to be the same. You're not going to learn from the same mistakes. You're not going to learn from the same successes. And I said, so I still don't, like, know what to do in a situation. He goes, you never will. You just have to sometimes kind of, like, lean into the fear and trust your gut. And, you know, it's interesting because I can remember at the time, maybe I was a lot younger than that. It was when I was with Alex, so no, it would have been after my mom passed away. But I can remember, like, different times in my life with my dad having conversations about making choices, making decisions. I remember one time my dad talking to me about the decision tree, and that, like, you know, when you go up this decision tree, it's like a branch that goes out, and you have, like, sometimes you have choose from 2 decisions or 3 decisions, and then once you make that decision, then that decision branches out into 2 or 3 other decisions, and that's kind of like how you figure out your life as you go. But there's no certainty to it, right? There have been a lot of times in my life where I have been very confused or unsure about the next move that I should make. I am somebody that will, for example, there were these sunglasses that I wanted, okay? And they are exact copies of the sunglasses that John F. Kennedy wore. My mom loved John F. Kennedy, and so they're called the Saratogas, and there's this brand that is selling them. Like the original company that made the sunglasses, they are selling them again, and so I found them on another website, and I pulled them up weeks ago on my website, and the tab has just been open for like 3 or 4 weeks. And every day I go over there and I look at them and I'm like, not today. Last night, finally, I was like, you know what? I haven't been spending that much money so far in March. I saved money from last month. I'm going to buy these sunglasses. This is something I really want. Like, even buying something, even making a purchase, like, for me, is so hard that I go into it with, like, trepidation and being unsure. And I'll wait, and I'll have tabs up of shoes that I want. Some of them I close up. I bought... Finally, when I bought Hokas and broke down and bought those Hokas, which I have to tell you, I think are very uncomfortable. I know my neighbors and a lot of my friends love them. I do not love Hokas. I think Hokas are very uncomfortable. But I had that tab open. I even talked about it in my vlog. I had the tab open for the Hokas for so long. And that's just me buying stuff, right? When it comes to, like, life decisions, it is really, I really think it out. Typically what I do is I go to a couple people in my life that really matter to me. I go to my husband, I go to my best friend, I go to my sponsor, and I go to my therapist. Nowadays, what I really typically do is I go to my sponsor and I go to my therapist. And I specifically just ask the two of them or run things by them. Because I don't want any outside voices. Back in the day, when I was like in my 20s and in my 30s, I had a lot of outside voices. I can remember when, and I've shared this story before, when I was with my ex, and I knew that things were not going well, and I knew that both of us were not happy, but neither one of us was willing to make the decision. I even actually reached out to my dad. I shared this on a video not too long, and I said to my dad, how do you know when the relationship is over? Like, how did you know with you and Mom? And he said, oh, Pete, if you're asking yourself that question, it's probably too far gone. And so... I can remember at that time, there was like 2 or 3 weeks before we broke up that I really felt like I was really unsure. Like, I was like, I can remember at that time, it was coming up on Christmas, and I thought if we could just make it through Christmas and things will be good. And I remember, like, really wanting to talk to Tanya, and wanting to talk to my sponsor and things like that. And I thought, no, like, I don't want to look back on this decision and be like, well, in my head, because I don't do this in my real life, be like, well, Tanya told me this and my sponsor told me that. I knew it was a decision that I had to make on my own, right? Like, it was such a pivotal decision. That experience, which then, we broke up, and then later he told me, he said, if you hadn't, I would have. So we were both there, and I feel good about that in retrospect. But it was a really valuable lesson for me in my life, because what I learned from it was that I cannot always lead on outside voices. Like, I need to listen to my own voice at times. My voice can be cloudy. I am discerning enough that I know the difference between when I'm trying to convince myself of what I want to do and when I'm really listening to myself. I go with my gut, I go with my heart, and I go with my head. And I align all three, and I really listen to it. But I sit on it for a while. I don't make decisions rapidly anymore. That's called being reactionary. I don't want to be reactionary anymore. I want to be responsive. I want to think things through. So when I feel confused about a decision that I have to make, right? Whether it's, am I going to buy these sunglasses? Or, are we going to move? Or, do I need to do this? Or is this a friend that is too toxic in my life anymore? I don't make immediate decisions. I sit on them for a while. I think them through. Sometimes I bring them to other people in my life, and I hear what they have to say, and then I take what they have to say, and then I sit on it for a while, and I listen to what I have to say. That's what I've learned from going to people and whatever. But I have learned that on very serious decisions, not like sunglasses, but on life decisions, right? That for me, it's important to kind of like not have so many outside voices and just really listen to myself, because I don't want to look back and be like, would I have made a different decision had I not talked to this person? I'm somebody that I am very much like, tell me what you think I should do and I'll take somebody's advice. For really serious life decisions, I've had to learn to get out of the confusion, get out of the fear, step into confidence. This is my life. This is me. I can make my own decisions, and then when I make my own decisions, I can stand behind them, And that's important for me today. It's important for me to stand on my own 2 feet and not always be proud of the decisions I make, but at least learn from the decisions that I make and know that they're my decisions, that they weren't somebody else's decisions, So this was a great meditation. Let me know what you think in the comment section below. I love you guys, and I'll see you tomorrow. Bye.